Jai Hind everyone, my name is Dr. Nandita Goyal and I am working as Associate Professor in Department of Information Technology. So today I'll be covering the topic relation and its types, and this is a topic from Discrete Structures and Theory of Logic subject, which is a subject in the third semester for BTech IT and BTech CSC branches. The topics that I'll be covering during my lecture include ordered pair, Cartesian product, then what are the properties of Cartesian product, what is the relation, then we'll be covering some examples of relations, and then we'll be discussing what are the various types of relations. So to understand that what exactly is a relation, first of all we need to understand that what do we mean by ordered pair and then what is Cartesian product. So if I talk about ordered pair, as the name says, it is going to consist of a pair of elements which have to be in certain order, and the order of these elements is going to be important. So an ordered pair basically is a pair of two elements. Suppose we can say that I have two elements A and B. Now what is the property of these two elements A and B? Suppose I have a set A which contains elements 1 and 2. I have another set which is B which contains elements again suppose 2 and 3. Now if I talk about the ordered pair for these two sets, then the ordered pair here means that my first element which is A should be from my set capital A and another element which is my element B should be from set capital B. So if I want to write the ordered pair for these two sets, I can write it like 1 which is from this set and 2 from this set. So 1 comma 2 can be one of the elements. Then I can have 1 comma 3. Then I can have 2 comma 2 and I can have 2 comma 3. So what actually I have tried to do, I have tried to list down all the ordered pairs such that the first element belongs to set capital A and the second element belongs to set capital B. So I can say that all these are ordered pairs which belong to set A and set B. So if I go to the properties of my ordered pair, so an ordered pair is basically a pair of objects whose components occur in a spatial order, and for this particular case the order has to be from set A, the first element, and the second element from set B. It is written by listing the two components in a specific format, that is A comma B, and we are separating the two elements by using a comma and then enclosing them within parentheses. So x comma y represents an ordered pair where the element x should belong to set A and the element y should belong to some set B. Same as the element small a belongs to set A and here element small b belongs to set capital B. So this is what is known as ordered pair. Now here, since I have two different sets, so my first element has to be from set A and the second has to be from set B. But it can be the case that I am mapping set A with set A itself. In this case, it means that the elements of set A will be mapped with the elements of set A itself. So for this particular case, I can write the elements like 1 comma 1, mapping of 1 with 1, then I can have 1 comma 2, then even I can have 2 comma 1 and 2 comma 2. So in this particular case, since the mapping is done from set A to itself, the first element will also belong to set A and the second element will also belong to set A. So this is another type of mapping which can be there where the mapping is done with the set itself. Now coming to the next topic, that is Cartesian product. So now since we know that what is an ordered pair, we can easily understand that what is Cartesian product. Now the Cartesian product is again for two sets A and B. Now it is written as A cross B and it will contain all the ordered pairs A comma B such that the first component should belong to set A and the second component should belong to set B. So it will contain all the ordered pairs. So now if I take the same example, that is my A contains 1 comma 2 and I have another set B which contains 2 comma 3. So what will be my A cross B? my A cross B will be containing all the ordered pairs for A and B. So, it will contain 1 comma 2, then 1 comma 3, then 2 comma 2 and 2 comma 3. So, this is going to be my A cross B, that is I will list down all the A comma B elements such that A is from set A and B is from set B. So, it is set of all the elements whose first component will always come from set A and the second component will come from set B. And same way, if I have a set A and I want that the mapping of A is with A itself, we don't have another set B and I am doing the mapping from A to A. Then the Cartesian product in this case will be written as A cross A, and which will be 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, then 2 comma 1 and 2 comma 2. Again we have listed down all the elements of A such that we have the first component from set A and the second also from component A, but we have listed down all such pairs. So, this is my Cartesian product for A cross A. Now, we will try to understand that what exactly is a relation. Now, since we know that what is Cartesian product, that is nothing but A cross B. Now, my relation is a subset of this Cartesian product, that is whatever pairs I have in A cross B, my relation is going to contain a subset of those pairs. So, a relation is a subset of the Cartesian product A cross B. Now, relation, when two elements are in relation, then they are denoted as, suppose I have a pair as A comma B. So, this means that my element A, if this particular element, that is A comma B, is in relation, then it means that element A is related to element B and the element A is from set capital A and the element B is from set capital B. Suppose if I want to say, I can also write it as A comma B belongs to R. Suppose I have a pair in my Cartesian product A comma B which does not belong to a particular relation. In that case, I can denote it as A comma B does not belong to R. This is the notation to say that A comma B doesn't belong to R. Now, let us take a few examples. Suppose my set A contains 3 elements, that is A, B, C, and my set B contains 3 elements 1, 2 and 3. Now, if R is equal to A comma 1, B comma 2, C comma 2, is it a relation from A to B? Now, we can clearly see that in this R, the first element belongs to A and the second elements belong to B. So, yes, it is a relation from A to B. Now, I have another example of a relation Q which contains the elements 1 comma A and 2 comma B. So, is it again a relation from A to B? Now, we can clearly see that the first element of both the pairs belongs to set B and the second element belongs to set A. So, it clearly means that it is not a relation from A to B. So, we have said that no, it is not a relation from A to B. Now, we have another relation P which contains the pairs A comma A, B comma C and B comma A. Now, we can see that both the components of the pairs belong to set A. So, we can say that it is a relation from A to A. Yes, it is a relation from A to A. So, this is how a relation is defined. Now, moving ahead, we have two terms associated with the relation, domain and range. So, what is the domain of a relation? Now, suppose I have some ordered pairs in the relation A comma B. I have these with certain condition that A comma B belongs to R with some condition. Now, here whatever pairs I have, the first component of these pairs which belong to set A is known as the domain of the relation, and the second component of these ordered pairs which belongs to set B is known as the range of the relation. So domain is the set of set of first elements of all the ordered pairs of the relation R, and it is known as the domain of the relation, and the range contains all the second elements of the relation, and it is therefore known as the range of the relation. Now let's again take an example. Suppose I have a set X which contains 5 elements 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I have another set Y which contains the elements 4, 5 and 6. Now a relation is defined as R is equal to, it contains ordered pairs X comma Y if X is greater than Y. Now this is the condition which is defining this relation, and the first element X will belong to the set capital X, and the second component Y will belong to the set capital Y. Now let's see here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in my set X and 4, 5, 6 in my set Y. So if I try to find out the Cartesian product which contains all the ordered pairs, so I can list down all the ordered pairs, that is 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, and same way I can list down for all the remaining elements in A with B. But actually the relation will not contain everything. It will contain only those pairs where X will be greater than Y. So first I'll write X cross Y. So my X cross Y will contain 1, 4, 1, 5, then 1, 6. Then it will also contain 2, 4. Now this is Cartesian product. These are not the elements of the relation. First I am writing down the Cartesian product, then we will see that out of all these elements what will be contained in R. So it will have 2, 5, then 2, 6. Same way the first element will be 3, 4, 3, 5, then we will have 3, 6, and then I will have with 4 all the pairs, 4, 4 I will have, then 4, 5 and 4, 6, then I will have for 5, 5, 4, 5, 5 and 5, 6. So this is my Cartesian product. Now the relation will have some of these pairs, but the condition for the elements to be in relation is X should be greater than Y. So let's see. Now this is not going to be in relation 1, 4 because the condition is not satisfied. 1, 5 is not going to be in relation, same for 1, 6. So we'll have to search where my X is greater than Y, that is the first component is greater than the second component. So if I see all these elements, I have this one element, that is 5, 4, where 5 is greater than 4. So I'll have only a single element in my relation R. Okay, so the condition is X is greater than 4. So I'll have only this particular element where the first component is greater than the second component. Rest for all the cases I have the first component greater than the second component. So greater than the first component. So this is the only pair which I have in relation. So this is how I define the relation. Now if I see what is the domain and range for this relation, the domain will contain only a single element 5 and the range will contain the element 4. Now we have talked about a relation which is defined on two sets, that is A or B or X and Y. Now we will be talking about a relation on a single set. Like we have a Cartesian product A cross A, same way we can even have a relation on a single set. So a relation on a set A is a relation from A to itself. Now let's have a single set which is A, which contains the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and the relation R is defined as A, B such that A divides B. So now I have to find out that what my relation will contain. So if I want to find out A cross A in this case, it will contain all the mappings of A with A itself, and but I can put the elements in my relation only when my first element divides the second element. So first of all, let's write A cross A, that is the Cartesian product. Then we'll find out what we have in relation. So my A cross A here will be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Then even I'll have 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. I have 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3 and 3, 4. I have 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3 and 4, 4. So this is my Cartesian product. Now I want to find out that what will be there in my relation RDEV, and I already have the definition of RDEV as it will contain all the ordered pairs A, B if A divides B. So let's see out of these pairs which one is fitting in the relation. So 1 will divide 1, 1 will even divide 2, 1 will even divide 3 and 1 will divide 4. So all these 4 pairs will be in my relation 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3 and 1, 4. Now what else can be there? 2 divides 2. So 2, 2 will be in relation. Then 2 even divides 4. Divides means that my remainder should be 0. It should completely divide. Then for 3, 3 divides 3. And then 4, we have 4 divides 4. So these are my pairs which are going to be in relation. So the relation RDEV will be defined by these pairs. This is how we define a relation on a single set. Now the question is that if I have in general a set A with n elements, then how many relations are possible on this set A? When the cardinality of the relation is cardinality of the set is n. So let's see how to find it out. Now my A contains elements from 1, 2, 3 up to n. So what will be my Cartesian product, that is A cross A? How many elements will be there in my Cartesian product? So let's take a simple example when my A contains 2 elements. So my A cross A contains how many elements? It will contain 1, 1, 1, 2, then 2, 1 and 2, 2. So that means when I have 2 elements in my set, I get how many elements in my A cross A? 4 elements in my A cross A when I have 2 elements in A. Same way I can see that when I have 3 elements in my A, so my A cross A becomes 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Same way 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, then 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. So when I have 3 elements in my A cross A has total 9 elements, and when I have 2 elements in A, my A cross A contains 4 elements. So I can see that when I'll have n elements in A, my A cross A will contain n square elements. Okay, so as I have already said that what is a relation? A relation is nothing but a subset of the Cartesian product. So already in the previous lectures we have seen that if my set contains n elements, then the number of subsets which are possible for that set is 2 raised to the power n. So same way, since the number of elements in my set become n square for A cross A, so how many subsets will be possible for a set containing n square elements? The total number of subsets possible will be 2 to the power n square. So this is going to be my number of relations which are possible for a set A which is having cardinality n. This has been even shown with the example. Now let us take a very simple example that a set A contains 1, 2, only 2 elements. Then what is going to be the A cross A for this? The A cross A will be 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1 and 2, 2. Now if with these 4 elements we try to list down all the possible relations. So what all relations can be there? There can be a relation which doesn't contain any pair, so it is known as a phi relation. So this is 1. Then the number of relations which have only one ordered pair. So there is a possibility of 4 such relations, that is 1, 1 can be there, or only 1, 2 can be there, or only 2, 1 can be there, or only 2, 2 can be there. So the total number of relations which are having a single ordered pair can be 4. The same way for the relations having 2 elements, they can be total 6 such relations. The relations which are having 3 elements, there can be 4 such relations, and then we can even have the entire A cross A in my relation. So we can have 1 such relation. So if I sum all these up, it comes out to be 16. So when I have 2 elements in my A, then the number of relations which are coming is 16. So it is simply 2 to the power 2, that is 2 to the power 4, and we get a 16 for this. Now let's talk about what are the different types of relations which are possible. So first of all, we'll talk about identity relation. So what is this identity relation? Like I have a set A which contains 1, 2 elements. So when I was writing A cross A for this particular set, I was getting the elements like 1, 1, then 1, 2, then I have 2, 1 and 2, 2. So I have certain elements where my first component and the second component are same, that is x, x. So these elements are even known as the diagonal elements, where the first and the second component are same. So when I talk about an identity relation, it is a set which consists of only these pairs where the first and the second component are same. So my identity relation can be defined as A, A, where the first and the second component are same for all the A which belong to the set capital A. So for this particular example, my identity relation I will contain 1, 1 and 2, 2. So this is the identity relation. Next we have inverse relation. So what is this inverse relation? Suppose I have a relation R for the same example. I have a relation R which contains the ordered pairs 1, 2, and suppose 1, 1. So now I want to find out the inverse relation. The inverse relation is denoted as R inverse, and what will it contain? It will contain, if I have R with ordered pairs A, B, then it will contain all the ordered pairs B, A. R inverse will contain all the ordered pairs B, A for all A and B that belong to R. So what does that mean? Here R inverse will contain, just reverse this, the first element from B and the second from A, 2, 1. Now here, since both the elements are same, it will remain 1, 1. So this is going to give me the R inverse. So whatever I have in my relation R as A, B, I'll just reverse it and I'll get the inverse relation, that is R inverse is equal to B, A for all the ordered pairs A, B that belong to R. Now next we have reflexive relation. So what is a reflexive relation? A reflexive relation is a relation which contains all the diagonal elements along with some other elements, but the only condition is that if my A is equal to 1, 2, like I have taken the example here. So how many diagonal elements I'll have? I'll have 2 diagonal elements, that is 1, 1 and 2, 2. So those should be there, but other elements can also be there. So one of the examples of the reflexive relation can be 1, 1, 2, 2, and then we have the other elements as well in this 1, 2 and 2, 1. So this relation is reflexive relation. The only condition is that I should have all the diagonal elements and then I can have other elements, or I even may not have the other elements, then also the relation will remain reflexive. But the only condition is that all the diagonal elements should be present in the relation. Now, if I talk about the cardinality, that is what will be the number of elements in the smallest and largest reflexive relation. So, if I talk about the largest reflexive relation, if I take the entire A cross A in my relation, then it will always contain the diagonal pairs and all the other elements as well. So, it is always going to be reflexive. A cross A is always going to be reflexive. So, the cardinality of largest reflexive relation which can be possible is n square, that is A cross A itself. And if I talk about the cardinality of the smallest reflexive relation, smallest means it should have only the required elements which will make it reflexive. So, the requirement is only for the diagonal elements. So, here since I have two elements, I have two diagonal elements. So, for this particular case, the smallest reflexive relation will be a relation which will contain only 1, 1 and 2, 2. Now, for a set which contains n elements, the smallest reflexive relation will contain what all elements? 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 up to n, n. So, total n elements. So, the cardinality of smallest reflexive relation will be n, and it means that it is going to contain only the diagonal elements, that is the x, x pairs. Now, let's talk about that what is going to be the number of reflexive relations which will be possible for a set A with cardinality n. Now, let us take one example. Suppose my set A has two elements 1, 2. So, now how many reflexive relations will be possible? I have written down the relation R1 which is the smallest reflexive relation in this case, which will contain only the diagonal elements, that is 1, 1 and 2, 2. Then in the second relation R2, I have just added one more element to it, that is 1, 2 along with the diagonal elements. In R3, I have added another element, that is 2, 1, which can be there, and replaced it with 1, 2. And in the fourth relation, I have added all the elements, that is A cross A, which is again reflexive. So, in this case, I am getting 4 reflexive relations. So, since this is a very small set, it is possible for us to write down all the possible relations and then count them down. But we need to find out that if my set A in general has n elements, that is 1, 2 up to n. In this case, how many reflexive relations will be possible? For this, how we can calculate it? Now, see, whenever I will find my A cross A, it will contain the ordered pairs. So, suppose it is containing 1, 1, 1, 2 up to 1, n. Same way 2, 1, 2, 2 up to 2, n. And this will go on for n elements, that is n, 1, n, 2 up to, n, 2 and n, n. So, now out of this entire elements, if I see how many diagonal elements I have these n diagonal elements. And for these n diagonal elements, how many choices I have for them to include in my relation? I have only one choice. I have to include them in my relation in order to make my relation reflexive. So, for all these diagonal elements, I have a single choice, that is to include these elements in relation. But what about the remaining elements? 1, 2, 1, 3. Now, I may include these elements in my relation, or I may not include these elements in my relation. So, for all these remaining elements, I have two choices. I might include them in my relation, or even I might miss them. So, if I have n elements which are my diagonal elements, and in total I have n square elements in my A cross A. So, what is the remaining number of elements which are there? So, remaining elements are n square minus n, where n square is the total number of elements, n is the diagonal elements. So, this is my remaining elements, and for all these remaining elements I have two choices, that is 2 raised to the power n square minus n. So, this will be my total number of reflexive relations which will be possible for my set A, which will contain n elements. So, this way I can have a generalized formula to say that how many reflexive relations will be possible for a set containing n elements. So, that's all for today's lecture, and we will continue this in coming lectures. Thank you.